They finally made a fun one of these! No, really, now that we've got like a Spider-Man Cinematic Universe launcher that actually works and an actually good Transformers movie, it's just like, upside down pony, table for two? So that soft reboot thing they were dangling over this? Yeah, not happening. This baby's an end-to-end, toe-to-toe, full-blown reboot. It kicks off with the fall of the Transformer planet Cybertron, you know, their homeworld, during which Optimus Prime takes his young, badass, basically teenage infantryman Bumblebee aside and gives him a mission to go to 1980s Earth and set up what's basically a secret base for the surviving Autobots, who are the good guys, by the way, to regroup and fight back and take back their home. Thing is, Bumblebee's not on Earth 5 minutes before he's absolutely failed that mission, because one of the big parameters is don't get found, and the Decepticons, who are the bad Transformers, are they're on his ass. He's been impaled through the voice box and his memory's fried. So now he's mute, he doesn't know who he is, the bad guys are after him, and he's drawn the attention of the US Armed Forces too, who are led by John Cena, cause awesome. So Bumblebee goes into hiding disguised as a VW Beetle, only to find himself snatched up by Charlie, who's like a high school senior slash mechanic slash angsty teen grieving a dead father. Do you think the lost amnesiac soldier and the angsty teen might form a deep and soulful bond that could potentially propel them through what's essentially the plot of E.T., Short Circuit, and the Iron Giant simultaneously? If you think not, oof, I got a clip for you.
Get out and move away from the vehicle.
Stay cool, B. What's going on? Hey! Come on, stop me! Let go of me!
Weapons now! Take it down!
Run!
No, don't run! Do not run! She ran.
It's insane how different a Transformers movie can look and feel when it's directed by literally anyone who isn't Michael Bay. If there's a buzzword at the core of Bumblebee, it's fun. Just out and out fun. And Christina Hodson, who wrote this, seems to be absolutely all about that, but she still knows it can only be as fun as it gets to be if you actually get to care about any of it to begin with. Having some pretty cheerful chops going at the script this time's worked an absolute treat. And I can genuinely say that not only is this the first time that I've genuinely enjoyed a Transformers flick, it's actually the first time I've ever gotten to the end of one and thought, more please. Kinda helps, admittedly, that Bumblebee's nearly a good half hour shorter than literally any of the movies that came before this, and since Hodson actually knows the basic 3-act structure, this one gets to have an actual beginning, middle, and end, rather than the usual sort of, you know, beginning, end setup that these movies seem to usually get run on. Get this though, on top of that, you actually get a pretty damn good director at the helm this time too. So, say hi to Travis Knight. So live action's pinched him from the animation realm, and he must never ever be allowed to return to it. Ever. Dude made a good Transformers movie. He's basically a unicorn. Seriously, Bumblebee's tight, coherent, engaging, yet still gets to put off some pretty massive action scenes. Knight gets to call back to his animation realm, I suppose, here, and he seems to know how to stage and work with the idea of giant animated robots really, really well. He's got some real goods here in the action department, too. I mean, you'll actually care when two of these things fight, largely because you can actually tell them apart when they're punching one another. Unicorn, people! Unicorn! Another first, meanwhile, is that the Transformers universe finally gets a set of human characters you don't instantly want to see mangled. Haley Steinfeld's an outright star as Charlie. I loved her in Edge of 17 a couple of years back, but this is a next-level breakout for her comparatively. She gets to do relatable family drama, but also gets to have fun with the retro 80s shtick around her without it ever seeming too forced, and she maintains a pretty lovable chemistry with an animated robot. Who knew? MVP trophy, though, goes to my man John Cena as Agent Burns. Basically, imagine like a Dwayne Johnson version of Simmons from the Michael Bay movies, and you'd not be too far off the mark. Cena's outright rocking every shred of charm and likability he can muster here, and he pulls it off so well that when he's given what should be the cheesiest moment of the whole damn movie, like right towards the end, he actually gets away with it. And I mean real cheese, like San Andreas, we rebuild. Cheese here. That's how damn good John Cena is in this really, really good Transformers reboot. And I just cannot get used to saying those words together. There's the usual roster of recognizable faces turning up in the supporting ranks. Pamela Adlon's in there, big fan of hers. John Ortiz is in there. Angela Bassett and Justin Theroux get to voice the token villains. And George Lenderborg Jr. gets a pretty thankless role as a sort of barely developed love interest, but he's kind of endearing about it at least. And big ups to Broad City's Steven Schneider in there too. He's the stepdad figure to Charlie, and he really keeps you loving just how naff he is in that sort of 80s movie dad way. Plus he's sporting that quality Ellis from Die Hard beard, so props. It's just genuinely flooring to be able to be in any way this upbeat and positive about a Transformers movie. Especially after you've seen it. I mean, I really do want to see what they do with this next. Oh, incidentally, yeah, the reboot thing. So, you initially just sort of enter into this as if it's like a straightforward prequel, but, you know, within minutes they're quickly setting about, like, annihilating any of the nonsense mythology of the last 5 of these. So, like, Optimus Prime already looks like a truck, and Bumblebee didn't fight Nazis in World War II, there's no Whit Wickens, or Dark of the Moon, or Anthony Hopkins loitering around the background calling everyone dude while he waits to pick up a check. There's this, only this, that's it. They start that way, they leave it that way, that's it. Don't be like showing up looking for John Turturro. Not that you'd be looking for anything anyway, it's a pretty absorbing experience, both in terms of like the story and the way in which it's brought to life. It's colourful, fun, energetic, and when it goes for those hefty action beats, because, you know, don't forget, it's the Transformers movie after all, they've got scale, they've got stakes, they feature some, like, startlingly violent moments, but by swinging it back towards the sort of Amblin-y 80s family movie tone, it all sort of balances out, and it winds up feeling like a really nifty period sci-fi romp just on its own merits, like, regardless of the Transformer brand. Look, I'm one of the harshest voices you will ever find on the quality of the Transformers film franchise. I've never gotten on board with any of this stuff beyond like being a fan of the cartoons when I was a kid, but even those I don't like remember too well now, and revisiting them's always been a bit disappointing, to be honest. This, though, really, really goddamn works. They've visually and tonally stripped it back down to its animated origins, which I know isn't really its origins, but can we just potato this one? And anyway, it's a full-on belter of a time. That's the point. With no shred of doubt in me, and against all the odds, Bumblebee gets 4 stars. I just need to take a moment with that. Just like, hold on. The Transformers reboot gets 4 stars. 4 stars. 4 actual stars. That's what unicorns get. So, sticking with the 80s thing, another one really worth checking out is Yentan's black and white period piece, 1985. Very different animal to Bumblebee, obviously. 1985 is this really engrossing drama that stars Corey Michael Smith. He's the Riddler on TV's Gotham. He's a closeted gay man who returns home for Christmas, having himself just begun to manifest visible symptoms of the AIDS virus. He's lost his partner in recent months to the disease. His family know nothing of his secret life, and he's pretty sure that this will be his last Christmas. So it's not what you'd call a feel-good film, but it's a pretty actually good film all the same. I never particularly rated Smith in Gotham, to be fair. I mean, I don't really rate Gotham all that much, but he is insanely good here. This is a really nuanced performance that really just takes you through the inner turmoil that he's in. There's a physical element to it too, just in the way that he responds to people. It's really compelling to watch. It really draws you in. I was a huge fan. This dude has been wasted on that show all these years. Like, he deserves better. Also really like Jamie Chung, so if you're playing superhero bingo, she's on The Gifted. Congratulations. She's Smith's estranged ex-girlfriend, and he starts to sort of spark up a very different kind of relationship with her, a very different dynamic. They've got real chemistry, and they work really well off of one another. There are just sparks in in this. The whole thing, incidentally, is shot on film as well. It's shot in 4:3 ratio, and it's black and white. It's meant to be like relevant to the period. I dug it a lot. I got really invested in it as it went on. I was a big fan of Michael Chiklis and Virginia Madsen as Smith's parents. I think Chiklis in particular, I thought this was a huge step up for him here dramatically. It's just a really powerful but often quite low-key drama. 4 big shiny stars from me though. I didn't see it coming and it really took me for a ride. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, rate, and review.